We already have our next guest ready for us,
Queued
Denise.
up,
Can
ready
we
to
jump
go?
right into it?
Yeah,
All right, let's
do
bring
it.
Kevin Ritz on. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going, Peter?
Good. I can't tell that is not a virtual background. Is that correct?
No, I'm actually in the classroom currently. So,
Excellent.
Welcome to
I,
Seattle Boat.
I,
Yeah, welcome to Boat Show TV as part of Seattle Boat Show Connected, presented by Union Marine. And Kevin, I want to say thanks for making time for us on a busy Sunday. I'm sure you have dedicated your life to working with students, and we want to talk about a variety of subjects. And one of them is around hot marinas and electroshock drowning. Can you just share with us some key points that you'd want to share with boaters as they think about when they moor and then they keep their boat in a marina?
sure. Well, that topic is something we could spend hours on. But let me just say, first thing I would say to folks is keep yourself and your loved ones out of the water in a marina where there's electricity present. Make sure that if you're going to go swimming and enjoy the water, do that away from the marina. Most of the time, I would say the vast majority of the time, you're plenty safe if you're anchored but it's when you're in a marina setting where you've got tremendous amount of electricity available and stuff where that can be an issue, of course.
So there's some new standards that I would like Washingtonians and aspiring Washington boaters to be aware of. And Kevin, you're the foremost expert in my mind about standards. What's going on with the Washington State, electroshock drowning and just the sort of corrosion pieces that we should know?
Sure, sure. Well, it really starts from a national basis, if you will. The National Electric Code has implemented standards that require ground fault protection in marinas so that boats that are plugged into there and the dock wiring themselves, if they do present a hazard and start leaking, then the power will be shut off to that particular vessel. And so this is something that has been many years in coming. And, we do have, unfortunately, a number of fatalities that occur every year as a result of leaking electricity. And so these codes are coming in as a way to prevent these type of accidents from happening. And they do a very, very effective job at doing so. One of the things to think about as you're cruising around, this summer, hopefully everybody's going to be able to get a chance and get out there and spend a lot of time on their boats. As you come into some of these marinas that have already implemented these particular standards, and if you do plug your boat in and it does pop the ground fault protection device, first of all, I guess I would like to say, be nice to the marina. The vast majority of the time, it is the fault of the vessel itself, and not your fault personally at this stage of the game, but plugging your boat in, and if it pops one of these ground fault protection devices, try working with the marina. They're going to do everything they can to make you happy and to get you power back up and going. But again, the vast majority of the time, it is what we call in the field neutral ground connections that can happen on so many different products. So it's so easy for this to occur. The standard limits the amount of electricity leaking at 30 milliamps for 100 milliseconds. And so that is a leakage amount that is not hard to get to. When you think about different products that we have on boats, many of those products inherently leak small amounts. So we can get through this and just be nice to the marinas. And one of the things that I'm doing about this particular issue, and one of the things we do here at the Northwest School of Wood and Boat Building, is make sure that there are adequate technicians out there that know how to deal with these issues and make sure that your boat is safe.
Because there certainly are resources people can learn about this. And like you say, if this happens to you, people tend to automatically believe it's not their fault. It's something wrong in the marina, but it's something wrong with the boat.
Most of the time. And if you understood how these ground fault protection devices work, they're measuring from downstream, from the pedestal to your boat. And that's where they're actually checking for this, what I'm going to call a magnetic imbalance with the conductors here that causes the ground fault protection device to work. So yes, unfortunately, sometimes a bitter pill, but most of the time the issue is the actual vessel itself. Now, if you want to be proactive on this. One of the things that I have been promoting for years and years is the installation of what we call an isolation transformer aboard your vessel. And this is a device that is designed to set your boat up in such a way that even if it has these faults, it's no longer an issue because the source of power is on the boat. So it doesn't need to travel from the boat's underwater metals back to a transformer on the dock or up on shore. So the electricity, if there is a fault on your boat, it will not leak. And so that's one of the great things you can do.
Kevin, what about the cameras and the infrared technology that's out there that's available on Amazon and other places where you get your favorite boating accessories? Are you up to speed on, is that something you'd ask boaters to have also on board?
You mean you were talking about infrared stuff for spotting people that have fallen overboard or something like that?
No, more infrared on if you've got some sort of hot appliance or something that is, yeah.
Sure. Well, from an marine electrical standpoint, we use thermal imagers all the time as a way of detecting spots, issues on the boat's wiring system or other issues. And so using a thermal imager, of course, that's one of the things that I certainly teach here in class. And it is a fantastic way of finding electrical issues long before they become a problem or an operational hazard for you. Years ago, I remember buying, a Fluke, I want to say it was a TI-20, and I was convinced that it would be a great way to go around and look at shore power cords, right? And it was during that time we were tending to have a lot of marina fires. And to this day, if we could get people to go around and start looking at those things and looking through a thermal imager, it's pretty amazing what you can detect with that.
Kevin, I only boat on the saltwater. I don't need to worry about any of this, right? Do you like that
well,
one?
let's see. Yeah, that's a very common misnomer, right? We just had some cold weather here a few weeks back, and I keep my boat in Port Ludlow. And as I was walking down the dock early one morning on one of the colder mornings, once again, as I see pretty much every year, some ice forming on the top of the water. Now, does that happen in saltwater? Here's what really happens is as freshwater enters saltwater, either via rain or perhaps, coming out from some sort of drainage that enters there, the water stratifies. So the fresh water is going to be on top and the saltwater being heavier will be underneath for an extended period of time until these things actually mix. During that time, that turns our water from saltwater into very brackish water. In fact, if it's freezing, we know that it's very brackish. And so now that hazard does exist. And so while the fatalities that we have been tracking for years, most of them do occur in fresh water, the possibility certainly does exist in salt and brackish water. And then not to mention, if you start thinking about your boat's underwater metals leaking electricity, that is going to affect the rate of corrosion in anode consumption aboard your vessel.
Well, as Kevin mentioned, he's right now stationed at Northwest School of Wood and Boat Building. And Betsy was nice enough to share a sizzle reel, Kevin, that talks about the importance of Northwest School of Wood and Boat Building. What do you say we watch it and we'll come back to you, okay?
Sounds good. Sounds great.
All right, Logan, that's number 70 on my bingo card.
The school's mission is teaching and preserving craftsmanship. We do that through boat building. We do it through traditional boat building, through contemporary boat building, and now through marine systems. Just as the contemporary program helped kind of grow the school with the changing industry, with marine systems, we're bringing traditional values to contemporary skills. And it's helping us stay relevant and current with the marine trades.
The whole load, right.
Digging in up here instead of...
We have an awesome campus. We have over 7 acres of campus located on the waterfront, Southport Townsend Bay, but we have also 5 individual shops that we're building all kinds of things out of. We have a systems shop, boat building shops, we also have a metal shop, and the beauty of having all of these in one facility is we can build anything. One of the primary skills we teach throughout the programs at the school is problem solving. We're showing you how to take two-dimensional ideas and drawings and objects and create three-dimensional objects. And boats happen to be the medium that we're using here. And take those shapes and problem solve through the construction of that boat. And along that way, you're inherently building all these other skills you didn't know you had. So it's not only working with your hands to build a boat, but it's problem solving through the different things that come out there. It's unpredictable. And so you're learning a whole new skill set when you come here. And that skill set doesn't just apply to boat building, it applies to all the trades. The skills the students are going to learn at our school are based in hand joinery. We spend a lot of time in the first quarter learning to lay out precise joints, how to cut those joints. One example I like to use is a handsaw. Drawing a line and then be able to split that line with a handsaw. And if you can't split the line with a handsaw, there's no way you're going to be able to split that line with a skill saw or a power tool. So we use our foundation of all the skills we learn in the beginning projects are based in the simplest form, using your hands. And throughout the year, you progress to learn to alternate and use power tools for the same skills. Ultimately, it's a combination of those two skill sets, hand tools and power tools, that make you the most efficient craftsperson. We build all kinds of boats. We build plank on frame, lap strake, all different kinds of wood composite boats. And one incredibly unique thing about our program is we build all different kinds of boats and different designs. We don't just build the same design over and over and over, which is its own attributes, but we build boats from 8 to 30 feet in all different construction styles, all different uses, power, sail, row. And what that does is it helps the students learn right alongside the instructors. So the instructors are building typically new boats they haven't built before, and with that, the instructors are having to learn about that design and about that construction process. And so it's not as predictable, but it offers the students a chance to see more of a real world problem solving skill set.
That was impressive. When it comes to the type of students at the Northwest School of Wood and Boat Building, Kevin, what type of students does that draw from?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have students from all walks of life. For example, I've got 18 incoming students set up for April 5th now. And we've got, people that are, just out of high school. I have a physician, I have an attorney, just a complete variety of people from all walks of life, people that are wanting to just change their career. We have people that are coming in that really, they've done a lot of stuff over a period of time, and now they want to learn really how to do things with their hands and do things that are very rewarding for them. So I would say all walks of life, and our average age, let's see, here in Marine Systems, I've had someone as young as right out of high school, and I think 68. So, but our purpose, of course, is to build marine technicians that have the skills so they can jump into the marine trades, hitting the ground running.
And how important is it to get those people to hit the ground running, like you say? Are we reaching a point where the current technicians are aging out or leaving the field?
You said that. They call it the silver tsunami. And so those of us that know how to do a lot of this stuff are aging out, getting ready to retire. And there's a huge shortage across the country of marine technicians, people that know how to do this type of work and hands-on work. So that's been our focus, and our mandate is to build entry-level technicians that can get out there. And so far, we're starting our 5th cohort just on our marine systems program. The boat school has been here teaching boat building for 40 years this year, but marine systems is relatively new. So everybody so far in our program that has wanted a job in the marine industry has got one. And so it's pretty cool. That's how I measure success.
And you said 18 students. Is that a full cohort, or could you have more?
We could have more if it wasn't for COVID.
Okay.
Right now with COVID, because of the space, and the only reason my last cohort was 8, and the only reason we can go to 18 is because our new marine systems building is just being completed. It's just under 5,000 square feet for just marine systems. And that's going to allow us to have the distancing and everything that we need with 18 students. Ultimately, we'll be going to 24 students every 6 months. And so looking forward to that.
And so people can, how do we find you? How do we get people that information?
Sure, you can just jump on our webpage, which is, NWSWB, I've got to look at it, .edu, or just type in Google, Northwest School of Wood and Boat Building.
Okay. All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Kevin, I've got to tell you, I had you speak at the Northwest Marine and Boat Yard Conference a couple of years ago. I was really appreciative of your time there. And it was a 3-hour class, I think. And the conference had ended. 45 minutes after it ended, you still had about, I don't know, 20
Yes.
of my members kind of just hanging out. I was getting in trouble from the conference MC there. And it's like, hey,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was great. You're a phenomenal presenter. You're really passionate about this subject, and I really appreciate the time that you and I have spent together through the years working on such an important topic as electroshock drowning.
Great.
Ladies and
Well,
gentlemen, go ahead, Kevin.
one thing I was just going to mention,
Yeah.
we talk about electric shock drowning, but I also want people to remember to make sure they have someone checking their anodes and making sure that those anodes are being changed, because it's going to be so less expensive just to replace those anodes than it is actually if you start having corrosion on your vessel. So that was something else I just wanted to say. Hey, summertime's coming. During summer, the water's warmer. We're going to have a higher rate of corrosion. So let's get a diver out to check those things.
Good
Kevin, have you
advice.
converted over to aluminum anodes, or are you a zinc man?
Oh, I'm absolutely an aluminum anode man.
Yeah, me too.
Basically there's 50 millivolts more negative driving potential. And that doesn't mean a lot probably to a lot of people, but there's 50 more millivolts doing what we wanted to do, right? And so that gives us that little better protection. However, let me say there's a caveat. Let's not put aluminum anodes on a wood boat, okay? That's going the wrong direction for wood boats. In fact, cathodic protection of wood boats is a very challenging thing. So get some help doing that type of setup there. But I'd stick with traditional zinc for those.
Okay.
Will do. Thank you, Kevin. Have a great rest of the day, okay?
All right, you guys too. Enjoy the boat show.
Thank
Will
you.
do. That's right. We're
All right.
here at Boat Show TV. We say goodbye to Kevin Rich. We say hello to you in the comfort of your own living room.